The Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, those three little letters are practically synonymous with American law enforcement. They're meant to inspire confidence, stability, the comforting knowledge that someone's out there making sure the bad guys get caught. But what happens when the guys meant to protect us? Well, screw up. And I don't mean in a whoops left the handcuffs at home kind of way. I'm talking colossal, earth-shattering, how did this possibly happen blunders. Over the years the FBI has racked up a rather impressive rap sheet of its own, riddled with miscalculations, oversteps and straight-up failures. And today, we're diving headfirst into that dumpster fire of dysfunction to examine some of the FBI's most notorious screw-ups. Buckle up folks, because things are about to get messy. It's 1996, the Atlanta Olympics are in full swing. Then a bomb rips through Centennial Olympic Park. Enter Richard Jewell, a security guard who spots the bomb and saves lives. Instead of being hailed a hero, the FBI zeroes in on him. The media frenzy paints Jewell as the villain. After 88 days, the FBI admits they had the wrong guy. Jewell's reputation, though cleared, never fully recovered. The year is 2001 and America is still reeling from the 9/11 attacks. Fear and uncertainty hang in the air. Then anthrax letters appear causing panic. 5 die, 17 fall ill. The nation is gripped by terror. The FBI launches a massive investigation. Missteps and finger-pointing ensue. Dr. Stephen Hatfill is wrongly accused. Millions wasted. Hatfill is innocent. The real culprit, Bruce Ivins, takes his own life. The case stains the FBI's reputation. Ah, Boston. A city known for its charming accents, delicious clam chowder, and oh yeah, a deeply unsettling relationship between the FBI and organized crime. At the heart of this unholy alliance was James Whitey Bulger, a notorious Boston gangster who terrorized the city for decades. Now, you might think that the FBI, being the upstanding bastion of law enforcement that it is, would be dedicated to bringing Bulger to justice. And you'd be wrong, because it turns out they were rather busy getting into bed with him. Bulger wasn't just any gangster. He was also a prized FBI informant. The FBI's relationship with Bulger went way beyond a few backroom deals and winks over wiretaps. They actively protected him, tipping him off about investigations, ignoring his increasingly brazen crimes, and even going so far as to help him eliminate his rivals. This cozy arrangement allowed Bulger to consolidate power, expand his criminal empire, and rack up a staggering body count, all while the FBI looked the other way. The depth of the FBI's complicity in Bulger's reign of terror was a truly shocking revelation. Chapter 4. Ruby Ridge. When a standoff turned into a tragedy. In the annals of disastrous FBI operations, Ruby Ridge stands as a particularly dark chapter, a cautionary tale of government overreach, tactical incompetence, and the tragic consequences of unchecked power. Our story takes us to the remote mountains of Idaho, where Randy Weaver, a white separatist with anti-government views, lived with his family in a cabin on a secluded property. It all began with a relatively minor firearms charge. But what should have been an open and shut case quickly spiraled into a deadly siege when the FBI decided to send in a heavily armed hostage rescue team to apprehend Weaver. The situation escalated rapidly, resulting in a firefight that left a U.S. Marshal and Weaver's dog dead. The FBI then authorized the use of deadly force against any armed adult male on the Weaver property, leading to the tragic death of Weaver's wife, Vicky, who was shot by an FBI sniper while she was unarmed and holding her infant daughter. The Ruby Ridge siege became a rallying cry for anti-government groups, fueling distrust and anger towards the federal government. Chapter 5. Waco, A Fiery End and a Legacy of Questions. In the spring of 1993, the world watched in horror as a fiery inferno engulfed a compound in Waco, Texas, marking the tragic culmination of a 51-day siege. The Branch Davidians, a religious group led by David Koresh, found themselves at the center of a standoff with federal agents after a botched raid by the ATF resulted in the deaths of 4 agents and 6 Davidians. The FBI took over the operation and initiated a siege that would drag on for weeks. The FBI's handling of the Waco siege was a masterclass in how not to negotiate with a potentially volatile group. The siege reached its fiery climax on April 19, 1993, when the FBI launched a tear gas assault on the compound, which tragically coincided with a fire that engulfed the building, resulting in the deaths of 76 people, including 26 children. The Waco siege remains a chilling reminder of the dangers of government overreach and the importance of restraint in law enforcement. Chapter 6, COINTELPRO Big Brother's Not-So-Secret War on Dissent. The 1960s, a time of peace, love, and the FBI secretly waging war on its own citizens. COINTELPRO, the FBI's top-secret program, aimed to neutralize political dissent in America. They targeted civil rights activists, anti-war protesters, environmentalists, and feminists. Tactics included infiltration, disinformation, and illegal surveillance. In 1971, activists exposed COINTELPRO, revealing its dirty secrets. COINTELPRO reminds us that the greatest threat to democracy often comes from within. Chapter 7. Robert Hanssen, the spy who sold America out from the inside. Espionage, it's the stuff of spy novels, cloak and dagger operations, and apparently awkward office Christmas parties. And no one embodies the strange intersection of mundane reality and high-stakes betrayal quite like Robert Hanssen, an FBI agent who spent over 2 decades selling secrets to the Russians. Hanssen, a man who seemingly lived a double life as both a dedicated counterintelligence agent and a brazen traitor, managed to elude detection for an astonishing 22 years, all while handing over highly classified information to the Soviets, and later the Russians, in exchange for cash, diamonds, and the soul-crushing knowledge that he was betraying his country. His treachery had devastating consequences, compromising national security, exposing intelligence sources and methods, and even leading to the deaths of American agents operating undercover. The FBI's failure to uncover Hanssen's treachery for over 2 decades was a colossal intelligence failure, a black eye for the Bureau, and a stark reminder that even the most seemingly secure institutions are vulnerable to betrayal from within. Hanssen's betrayal sent shockwaves through the intelligence community, forcing the FBI to confront its vulnerabilities. Chapter 8, Stephen Hatfill. Remember Dr. Stephen Hatfill, the scientist wrongfully accused in the anthrax attacks? Well, buckle up, because the FBI's handling of his case deserves a special circle of hell reserved for bureaucratic incompetence so profound it borders on performance art. After the anthrax attacks of 2001, the FBI, desperate for a suspect, zeroed in on Hatfill, a virologist who had worked at a government biodefense lab. The FBI's case against Hatfill was built on a foundation of circumstantial evidence, flimsy connections, and a healthy dose of good old-fashioned prejudice. They leaked his name to the press, painting him as the anthrax villain, tipped off reporters to stake out his home, and generally made his life a living hell, all without a shred of concrete evidence to link him to the attacks. Hatfill, his reputation in tatters, his career destroyed, sued the government for violating his privacy and ruining his life. The government settled with him for a cool $5.8 million. While the FBI was busy persecuting Hatfill, the real perpetrator, Bruce Ivins, a scientist at the same biodefense lab, remained undetected. Chapter 9, Boston Marathon Bombing. The Boston Marathon, an iconic event celebrating athleticism, resilience, and the human spirit. But in 2013, this joyous occasion was shattered by an act of terror that sent shockwaves across the nation and exposed critical failures within the intelligence community, particularly the FBI. The Tsarnaev brothers, Tamerlan and Dzhokhar, were quickly identified as the perpetrators, but as the dust settled and the investigation unfolded, a chilling truth emerged. The FBI had been warned about Tamerlan Tsarnaev, the elder brother, long before the attack. Foreign intelligence services had flagged Tsarnaev as a potential threat, sharing their concerns with the FBI on multiple occasions. But despite these warnings, the FBI, citing a lack of concrete evidence and bureaucratic hurdles, failed to adequately investigate Tsarnaev, allowing him to slip through the cracks and carry out his deadly plan. The FBI's failure to act on the intelligence they received was a tragic oversight, a stark reminder that even in the age of sophisticated surveillance and information sharing, the human element remains paramount. Chapter 10, Hillary Clinton Emails. The 2016 election saw the FBI dive into Hillary Clinton's email practices, led by James Comey. The use of a private email server sparked a controversial investigation. Accusations of bias and leaks plagued the inquiry. The FBI's actions were criticized for potentially influencing the election. Ultimately, no wrongdoing was found, but the FBI's reputation suffered. The FBI has had its share of missteps, from wrongful accusations to botched investigations. These failures shouldn't overshadow the dedication of thousands of agents serving with integrity. The FBI is not infallible. It's made up of people who can make mistakes. Its history is a mix of triumphs and failures, a story still unfolding. We must hold the FBI accountable, demanding transparency and oversight.